Peace, family. How you all doing? I hope all is well with you. My name is Keisha. I'm the owner of Ascendant Astrology, and I am your astrology coach. Today, I'm going to be discussing Venus and Leo retrograde. I know you guys are probably like, Jude, you already did Venus and Leo. Why are we doing retrograde? Well, it's kind of like when Mars was in Gemini. If you've been following me for a long period of time, I always do small transits separate like this because it's really important to know how to navigate your life and understand why things keep showing up, especially when we have big transits like this. Because you really get to see why it's important or why some astrologers will say certain things and not always all the time. Um and you can see it being reflected in your life. So um Venus will go retrograde in the sign of Leo July 22nd or 23rd to September 23rd. And the shadow starts on the 19th, which is this Sunday or Monday. And it ends October 7th. The shadow phase ends October 7th, right? If you remember, I did a little example to show you guys specifically with the degrees on the chart when I was doing the last retrograde we had because it was a pretty big deal. So why is this shadow phase important? Because depending on what sign you are and how much of this energy is going to be affecting you, you've probably been feeling this. To be quite frank, some people can feel these energies for up to 2 to 3 months prior to. Everybody's different. And if you're doing your spiritual work and you're healing and working on yourself, trust me, you see this shit coming a mile away. Sometimes it doesn't even happen until the end of the transit, depending on where you are in your spiritual journey. But again, the 19th is the degree that is going to mark the shadow phase, but it's also going to show you where Venus is going to go over 3 times. So on the 19th, until the actual day, which is July 22nd, when Venus actually goes retrograde. That's when you're going to start from that period to that period. Whatever's happening between that time is whatever's happening is what's going to keep repeating or what you're going to need to work on or fix, right? And so from the 19th to the 22nd, something is happening for you that's going to happen again and again and again. It's going to happen over 3 periods of time. It's going to go from the 19th to the 22nd. And then when it's coming back, it's going to hit it again and go back over it again when it goes direct. So forward, backwards, forward. Okay. It's a real pain in the butt, but I promise you, if you're doing some journaling and you're marking these things down, you will begin to see how these retrogrades are like, oh, you sneaky little bitch. So you think you're doing something? Never fails. Even as an astrologer, I promise you, you would think that I'd be used to denying the astrology at this point. I still get caught up in shit sometimes, like, it's not gonna happen to me. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And something still comes up. It's like, oh, you know what? Fuck off. All right. But that just shows that, we're not really here to sit and be pretty too much. For the most part, if you are doing your spiritual work, you get a lot more good days than bad days, right? But for the most part, as long as you're doing your work, it is a lifelong thing, and you will continuously have things come up in your life to help you grow and evolve into the person that you're meant to be. So it's good to just get out of the habit of thinking that you're getting a free ride and to be prepared, and trying to pay attention to what's going on to figure it out. Now you're flowing with the energy instead of opposed to it, or, juxtapose it. You know what I mean? It's coming, but you're working with the coming, right? It makes it a little bit more easier to accept, and it changes the way you think about the flow of energy as well. And so, also the fifth, sixth, and seventh. Now, I did do a bigger video on this as well, in the Venus and Leo video, because Venus went into Leo on the fifth. But the fifth, sixth, and the seventh, we were feeling the Venus Pluto square. Now, as soon as Venus went into Leo, she squared Pluto. And unfortunately, Pluto's a bit darker. It can bring up some of the darker sides of Venus. And again, I did post about this, but Pluto squares can bring jealousy, possessiveness, anger, and really gets to show you what's keeping you from finding true love, whatever that is to you. And then on August 8th, Venus will be going invisible. So she'll be behind um Mars. Is it behind Mars or the sun? I think it's behind the sun. Yeah. Whenever a planet is invisible, I did a video on this too. A planet indicating it's invisible, meaning it's behind another planet. And it's the morning star. So this is a new Venus star point cycle, and I did a video talking about that as well. And this is a really, really powerful star point. It actually puts Mercury for this Gemini new moon in power. So Mercury being in its own sign of Gemini, you really want to check to see where your Gemini area of life is, which can also be bringing up more things of love and communicating how you want to receive that love, right? Um, but because it's invisible, unfortunately, this can show up in the darker sides of Pluto. Again, the darker sides are always going to come up as a way to show you where you need to do better to fix it so that you can get to a lighter, softer side of that energy, or the higher expressions of that energy, right? And so, the Venus going invisible can cause women being attacked, women going missing, and children being attacked. I think children, unfortunately, with Leo energy is going to be a really, really big theme. And I'm pretty sure we'll see a lot more stories coming out about children in an unfavorable way, unfortunately. And I will go over that just a little bit. I did talk about that in the other video as well, but it's just going to be what it is. And Leo is a fixed fire sign, meaning we're going to be feeling very strongly about this area of our life, maybe even really not wanting to change. It's not going to be easy, whatever it is. It's not going to come easily. Although in Gemini season, it does sextile the sun and the new moon, so that's a good thing. But um, I do think that it could still be one of those things where it's like an overabundance of love that's still teaching you a lesson where you need to find some balance somehow, some way. And it can be a not so good feeling when you feel like you are in a place where you're loving somebody and they're not really reciprocating that love, right? It kind of just, it's like, damn, that fucking sucks. And coming to that realization can be just as hurtful and harmful as the lower expressions of this energy. Getting your feelings hurt like that, or getting shut down like that emotionally, to the point where it's like, oh, okay, so I got more work to do, kind of, sort of, it can kind of stop you in your tracks of this very Leo. Leo's my Care Bear energy, and so it emanates from the heart, very loud and proud. And yeah, I just think it could be a not so good feeling. The signs that'll feel this the most, obviously Leo, Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, all the fixed signs, right? As well as Taurus and Libra, because two things. Libra and Taurus are ruled by Venus, and so if your ruling planet's going retrograde, you could rest assured it's gonna mess with you somehow, some way. And so be mindful of that. It could be taking you on a journey to go dive deeper into love, romance, dating, entertainment, children, and creativity, which are some Leo themes. Um, Also, another reason why that's important is because Taurus is in the North Node, and um it's ruled by Venus, and it'll be leaving, moving into, hold on, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, so I had to stop my alarm was going off. And so Taurus has been in the North Node, so Venus has been in the North Node. This is what we're moving towards, what we're working towards. Um, our mission and purpose as a collective, Venusian themes, and it'll be moving into Aries. Now, I did already talk about Aries North Node um when we had the Aries eclipse. Okay, I think that was about 4 or 5, maybe 6 moons ago. I might post a little clip of it or something. But I did talk about North Node and all that in that video. Also, um, Mars will now become the mission purpose because Mars rules Aries for um, the North Node for the next 18 months, right? And and now Libra, which is Venus, is going to be in the South Node, which is where we're releasing, letting go. And I'll be doing a video on that next. I'm actually working on the notes for that now. And then Mars, which was just remember Mars is the ancient ruler of Scorpio, and we just had the South Node in Scorpio where we was releasing and letting go. And now it's in the North Node. So it's kind of like we're doing a planet reversal here, which I think is very fucking interesting. I can't wait to see how this all plays out because Mars is a fucking troublemaker. And I'm scared for everybody, essentially. But we need it. I think we do need it. I think having Venus in the South Node is going to allow us to work on our passive energy, being a little bit more courageous and direct, right? But again, I'll be talking about that in the next video. And so Venus rules love, harmony, relationships, beauty, and creativity. And retrogrades can bring up challenges in relationships and partnerships, really social life in general, to be quite frank. There can be communication problems, misunderstandings, and unresolved problems that can help us heal. Remember, all of this is always going to be about bringing up stuff that needs to be brought up so that we can work on it or work through it. And so working on our beauty, personal style, creative endeavors is definitely going to be a really big theme for retrograde, for Venus in retrograde. There can be delays in financial matters as well because Venus does rule money. It can encourage self-love and self-care. Um, with that Aries North node, it's going to be a thing to be independent and really get into feeling how what you want for yourself, right? And advocating for that, asking for help, and not being again passive about it. Some relationships may go through a temporary separation to allow for growth. This is not the time for commitment and major decisions. Anytime you have a retrograde, unless it's from somebody from the past. And we'll talk about that more for the South Node energy, but just talking about retrogrades in general. Anything from the past is what you really, really, really want to be working. Anything internal, what's going on inside, is anything you want to be working on. If you are trying something new, if you got some new feelings that you're trying to work through, this is not the time for it. It's just not going to work out energetically. You do not have the support. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Do not. Okay. And if you do, then you'll see what happens. Um, and Leo is like extra love, extra opportunities, extra affection, attention, and appreciation. We can be connecting more deeply, bringing people together more. I do think wining and dining and costumes and outfits and glamour are going to be a really big thing. People may date more, find closure, or get in touch with your inner child, get in touch with romance, spending more time with your children and significant others, be separate or together. And again, a lot more self-expression around these themes is going to be really big. So advocating for yourself and what you want and need is going to be it's going to be expected of you. It's going to be like closed mouths don't get fed type of energy. And if you want to start a business or any kind of self-employment on they have all those like little sites that you can do your little businesses on. Those are going to be booming right now for sure. Um, or if you want to start a family, you'll have the energy to kind of do those things. Whatever it is around Leo themes will be supported in figuring out what it is you want. And then remember we got Mars in the mix. Mars has kind of already been over the territory that Venus is currently going over. And unfortunately, because Mars is violence, cutting, severing, um, burning off, fires, this could be breakups, drama, past lovers, one night stands. People can change their mind in the midst of a relationship. Things can be going great. They don't really need a reason. Retrogrades can make you feel like, I'm not really getting that feeling that I thought I was getting in the first place. And now I'm just second guessing everything. Um, People can get bored. This can be materialism, ego driven, attention seeking, attention whores. Okay. We're definitely going to be seeing scandals in the headlines when it comes to people of fame and things of that nature. Don't you worry about it. There'll be enough juicy gossip for you to feed off of for the next 3 fucking years. I can only fucking imagine. And then again, unfortunately, Mars, like Pluto, is very um, sexual. Um, so sex scandals, things around children and sex scandals, childhood sexual trauma. If you was exposed to it too quickly, prostitution, trafficking. Unfortunately, these are going to be themes that are going to run rampant. The porn industry. Um, I mean, we could hear some real scary stuff around these types of themes and how they're related to people and fame. Okay, that's just what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it there. And Leo is royal events. It can be the death and ascension of a king and a queen, assassinations, massacres, something around the Vatican, and the wow, stock market changes. Leo rules the heart. This could be a lot of heart issues, heart health issues. And it also rules the back. And so we can hear a lot around back issues and problems, fevers, blood pressure, spinal ailments. We might see a really big movement of people like we got to protect the children. Again, something's going to be really big around children. I don't like I don't like it. Honestly, it makes me sick to my stomach to think about what it might be. But just women and children, like watch your six, okay? Seriously. Um, it would be nice if you had somebody who was around to protect you. You might need it more than you think during this time. Um, but just watch and pay attention to your children. Um, we can hear more about the No Child Left Behind Act. We can hear more about pregnancy and child rights. Um, so more around, unfortunately, like guys having babies or guys having like feminine problems, feminine hormones and things of that nature. Unfortunately, that's just a topic, okay? And the gay and lesbian community, the she, he, her pronouns and all that, these things can become very rampant and kind of out of control at this time. World leaders and kings might lose love from the public from doing something out of these darker areas. Like that dude, who the hell was that was in the news? It was crazy that he like kissed a kid and his tongue was out, and they were saying like he was like apologizing. He was like, I didn't know I was on being recorded. So nobody likes that guy anymore. I can assure you of that, right? It can be something else like that that's coming out with a continuation of that story and kind of more shit that comes out around that, unfortunately. This can be the public downfall of a king or a queen or a Vatican or somebody in high honors. Surprise breakups. I think the last few times we had these Leo, Venus was in Leo, Venus was retrograde specifically, mad people broke up. It was like a breakup frenzy. I think I have the dates. I can't remember. I might have not have because, I'm really kind of tired of talking about people I don't really fucking care about. Sorry. Um, but you can go back and you can Google this stuff, guys. Like seriously, this is where I get most of my information. As long as you know what transits happening, go to Google, start Googling questions that you have with that information, and shit comes up. And you'd be surprised how much information you can get off of, just doing that. But there were a lot of breakups. I think there was like 7 or 8 of them that were really a big, super public, big deal. People were like, whoa, didn't see that coming. Some of them were pretty fucking obvious. But it can be another shit show like that during this summer. Um, um, where people are just breaking up because for one reason or another, they're just realizing like I'm in a relationship that's at a dead end. I'm not getting anything from it and I'm not happy. Um, um, you can be meeting a lot of people online or abroad or while traveling. This could be a lot of public affairs, a lot of public displays of affection, and possibly even people getting locked up for the John Law, or having sex in public, or showing their little fucking wee wee in public, indecent exposure. Okay. I hate to say it, but it's just under the influence might will like cause you to do some shit that you might have wished you didn't do. It's just the way it is, right? This could be a lot of feminist movements and marches, especially because Lilith, and I'm about to talk about that in a minute, and Juno will both be in Leo. And so there's this idea, which I quite frankly don't see coming. Um, and I hope to God that it doesn't. But there could be this idea that, men are getting caught cheating a lot, and the feminist movement comes together and bands together like girl power, like we're not going to let men do this to us anymore, and make it like a big movement or thing, right? Or we could just hear a lot more people talking about infidelity in their relationships, being cheated on, and you can catch a band of it, where it's like a consistent theme of women expressing how that they're done, it's I don't want it anymore. um so it talks about reproductive and pregnant rights and all that stuff. So definitely the same thing can be a band of women coming together like they're pregnant. Okay, that might be cute. Um, Also, this can be poisons, drowning, and choking, okay? Or asphyxiation. Isn't asphyxiation choking? I, I deemed asphyxiation choking because that's just, the degree that this is at represents the possibility for that to be a thing, right? Um, and so again, women and children, protect your women and children. This could also be animals, cats, obviously, lions, obviously, right? Taurus rules elephants. Um, and there could be like some call to action to protect these species that might be going extinct or something like that, or some kind of wildlife in general. It could be the cat family. I just don't know them all. So there's more than just cats and lions, but of that, they could be at risk. Elephants can be at risk. And you could see a lot of people banding together for protection of those animals. That could definitely be a theme here. And good old Lilith. I don't think I've ever done a video on Lilith, to be quite frank. I might have. I know that I've definitely talked about it. I think I even did some like horoscopes, out through the houses type deal. But Lilith is like Pluto and Mars and Venus being invisible. It's a darker energy. Lilith is definitely the mistress in astrology, unfortunately. Um, and you want to be careful. Uh, Again, three is a crown. You got Venus, Lilith, and Juno. Juno is the divine counterpart. Lilith is the mistress, and Venus is the wife. And so, they will conjunct at separate times during this transit. And so, again, that conversation about cheating and infidelity in relationships can be quite a big theme this summer. Even prostitution and selling yourself, and um It could be like a pretty woman type of thing. Okay, it doesn't have to all be bad. Pretty Woman was a little bit more of a sophisticated prostitute, who actually ran into somebody who was rich who can take care of her. This could totally be a theme with Juno and Leo. Um, and so Lilith conjunct Venus is like bad tattoos, raw feminine sexual art, very loyal, um, takes commitment seriously and will fight for what they want, compromise, long-term relationships, on the upside of Lilith, is, this is like Scorpio. It's like, once we go together, that's it. That ain't no going back, till death do us part type of energy, right? And then um obviously on the lower expression is the infidelity, jealous, um, wilds, girls gone wild, um, independent, unconventional relationships, sexual power, shadow work on fleek, and the goal is self-acceptance, right? This is somebody who needs to accept themselves for who they are, regardless, before they can grow and evolve into that higher expression of energy. And I don't think it's all bad. I think we kind of um, demonize sex and sexual activities. We need to have an honest, more open, mature conversation about that. But with the way this society is, who knows if it'll ever happen. So you do the work within yourself for yourself, right? And don't be like shy to um to express it. Don't let anybody shame you or anything like that. Because Venus, and once Venus gets in the South Node, I'm telling you right now, it's going to come up as a thing, right? And so you're going to have to stand firm in your sexual prowess and be who you are, regardless of the comments that you are probably undoubtedly going to get, right? Um, and people lack information and then they believe everything that is being told to them. And so Lilith is going to challenge those people like, you got to be that person if you're in this role to educate people. Actually, it's not that, it's this, right? And stand on that. Um, and then Juno, just oh, Juno's so cute. Juno is like the best. I don't care what anybody says. Not particularly in Leo. I don't know if I care too much for Juno and Leo energy, but um Juno in general is your divine counterpart. This is the absolute highest vibration of yourself. This is when two people can say, I give 100 in a relationship, and they don't say 50-50, that dumb fucking shit. You are not half of a person trying to be in a whole relationship. You need to be 100% yourself to be in a really good relationship, right? This is Juno. And so Juno is intense transformation in relationships, reclaiming your personal power, challenging traditional roles in relationships, embracing sexuality, breaking free from limitations. Um, these can definitely be like video vixens or housewives, but with a mission, you know? Um, and then of course, again, you're gonna have Lilith there to help with that. But Juno often has to deal with the other woman, the vixen, affairs, mistresses, people wanting to venture out, like that grass is greener type of energy, where you start to feel like, well, let me try my luck somewhere else and let this bitch go because she's boring, right? Leo's like, turn up, turn up, turn up, and Juno's like, do you not know who I am, bitch? Like, anyway. And so it can be that energy of boredom. I think I mentioned that earlier. Not feeling the love or not getting what you expected out of something and just want to see what's out there. This could be the unity of women coming together to bring um, the cheating women, if you will, to the surface. I really hope that doesn't happen. I could live my whole entire life without seeing another slut walk. Seriously. Um, but anyway, and so the last time we had this the last time, yeah, the last time we had this transit, it was actually in 2021, but Venus was in Capricorn. And you can go back and watch that video because it was challenging us to level up and courting, really understanding what it means to court somebody. And Leo, I think, is just the best energy to follow up with this on because Leo is established, right? If you understand what the house of Leo means, it's somebody who's ready for retirement, right? And so they could be somebody who's a little bit older than you or just a lot more mature, right? And um this is where you kind of get that idea where you might hear a lot of people saying or some of the lower expression of masculine energies like, oh, you're going to pay for her to do that, or you're going to pay for her to do that. I actually have a clip of 19 Keys and the relationship guru that he had on there. I love that fucking video. I can watch that video 1,000 freaking times. It will never get old to me. They did a phenomenal job. If you haven't watched it, just like watch it. But they talked about this idea that, you have a lot of men who they're just not at that level, right? This isn't about talking down to anybody, but they will accuse women of wanting men who have money and who are established, but some women are worthy of that, and that's like a thing in a relationship. And some men like the idea of being able to do those things for themselves, forget about doing it for their significant other. But what I love about Leo energy is that Leo is going to take his women with him. Do you understand what I'm saying? He wants his woman to feel just as special as he feels about himself. And so he's going to take you on that vacation with him. He's going to take you to stay in a island somewhere. And I'm being like really over, it doesn't have to be that over dramatic, although it's Leo. It could be. um, you know, it might be something like that. But you get the man here that wants that lifestyle for themselves, right? And so you get, by association, you get to join that journey with with him, which I think is just amazing. If anybody finds that, if that's what you're looking for. Not that those things are what's important, but this person is going to take care of your kids. He's going to assume your child is his, whether it is or it isn't. He's going to raise that child like it is his. Like, we need more of that. Especially now in this culture, we need more people who are open-minded like that. And I kind of hope that theme grows more, because the children are losing in this case. And that could be one of the really big conversations that comes up around pregnancy and having children. I can already hear people saying, well, don't have children, bitch, if you can't, if you're knowing that your person's not going to be there and take care of them. Okay, fine. How many of us are really going to be doing that though? It's just somebody else's karma, and it's just the facts of life. You don't really have to like it. You can sit there and name all the degrading things about the situation. The What we need to get to is the solving of the issues instead of, the other way around, because you just wasted 3 minutes talking about something that's just really ignorant, It says a lot about your level of understanding of life. If you go back into African cultures and things of that nature, these things are not just being done here in this 3D realm that we all want to fucking escape so badly. Do your research, know where you come from. These things are happening and been happening, okay? It's not just this generation. It didn't just start now. It's not brand new. It's been happening for fucking eons, right? It's more so like singling it out, Look at your chart. You probably are destined to take care of somebody else's fucking kids, whether you had them or not, because of the way your life was set up. There could be a multitude of reasons why that person has been chosen to take that role. Which, by the way, I've noticed that it's either like a lot of veterans, people who have been in war and kind of dedicated their life somewhere else where they weren't able to have a family and wanted to. And they have this money and wealth that they've built through the trials and tribulations that they've learned through at a very early age. Even like gangsters, people who've been in jail for a really long time. I've noticed those are the only people who are allowed to really talk like that, and the kids of those people who were raised by those people, you see, have this ideology. Food for thought, which is very also Mars and Leo energy, by the way. And so you just never know, whose life is being kind of brought here to do that. It's just a thing. So I can spend more time on it, be quite frank. I don't give a shit. That's just where I'm at, family. Either love me or leave me alone. Either love me or leave me alone. Okay. I love and appreciate you guys. I hope you guys are finding this information helpful. Peace. Okay.